I have the list in front of me, Joe, and just to kind of read through a couple, but I want to know who you actually kind of outline that makes sense for the Mets in terms of what they could be looking for in terms of the profile of the player, the age. And it's a weird one, right? Because you have somebody like Dylan Cease at the top of this list, who's 30 years old. He will turn 30, for next year. These are the ages for the next season. So he's 29 right now. He turns 30 this winter. Not a good contract year for a guy like Dylan Cease. A 4.55 ERA. He always makes all of his starts. Dylan Cease has made 32 starts, at least 32 starts every year since the pandemic season, which you got to tip your cap to that durability and availability. But you look at WAR, wins above replacement, 6.4 in 2022, down to a 2.2 in 2023, back up to over a 4 in 2024, and back down to 1.1 in 2025. Like it's pretty fair to label Dylan Cease, who's viewed as one of the top dogs in this class, as almost an every other year guy, where some years he's a high-end number 2, and then other years he's more of a average number 4. And that's a big difference when you're probably paying out number 1-ish money, Joe.
Connor, he is inconsistent, as you said, but look, maybe he's just due. If it's an every other year thing, then you want Dylan Cease for 2026, naturally.
And then skip till 2028. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. 2027 isn't happening, so it's perfect.
That's what a lot of people believe.
We want Dylan. So I will tell you, Dylan Cease is one arm that I'm incredibly interested in the Mets pursuing. One thing the Mets have lacked is starters going deep. As you mentioned, Dylan Cease takes the ball and pitches into games. They lack guys that get swing and miss. Dylan Cease is among the best in baseball in getting swing and misses. And he's one of those guys where there's a lot of crowd that when talking about David Peterson, it's just like, he is not that good. Look at his expected statistics. And Dylan Cease is a guy that his expected stats are routinely year over year better than his actual stats. And of course, expected stats are good for like information gathering, but the reality is you perform how you perform on the field. And I think the inconsistencies that Cease has shown, I think that's going to trim his market a little bit, because I would expect a qualifying offer to be here. So that's going to turn some teams off. What this reminds me of, I think this is a better version of Nick Pivetta, who I really wanted the Mets to pursue last year.
Yeah, you liked him a lot.
And so for me, if I'm the Mets, I would be advantageous on the qualifying offer market here. Look, the farm system's in a good spot. And if you tell me the QO is going to shrink Cease down to like a 3-year deal, and maybe there's an opt-out after 2 or something along those lines, and the money's good, I would trade for a guy, and I would sign Dylan Cease. I think he fits this Mets team. The pitching infrastructure, despite Jeremy Hefner departing the organization, that is still in place. We're going to figure out who the actual pitching coach is going to be, I would assume sometime soon. But Dylan Cease, to me, stands out as an option that I think is not the typical David Stearns, like, take a flyer on this guy. Like, Zach Gallen, to me, is the guy. Like, that's the vintage David Stearns. You sign Zach Gallen for a year, and you're like, maybe he'll figure it out and regain his old form. Cease, I think he's probably just a couple small tweaks and just a little more consistency, but he fits like a glove. And then after that, Connor, if you want to talk here about Framber Valdez and Ranger Suarez, like, those are the guys that would be the deviation completely from the David Stearns kind of thought process.
Yeah, and these guys are all expected to get qualifying offers, by the way, just to get that out of the way. That can, as we've seen, affect markets before. Now, Cease, oddly enough, there is a floor with him, even when I said there's years where he pitches more like a number 4. Like you said, Joe, the advanced stats, the fact that his strikeouts over 9 is really good every year. Like, it's not like a Corbin Burns situation where you're looking at it and going, why is this declining as he's getting closer to free agency? It's really good every year.